So I want to talk to you guys a little bit about my story. Just I've been kind of, dipping into it a little bit, but just to give you a full rundown of how I got started. I didn't start with much, and it was definitely I didn't really know anything about the industry. I volunteered for a senior care facility, a large place. And I was really just volunteering because I always liked taking care of old people because I used to go to my grandmother's senior home and I used to make money like going to the grocery store for some of the seniors in her community, and I would clean their apartments. So I always like had a sweet spot for old people. So it was like, oh, I'll just volunteer for an assisted living facility. And one of the clients was like, oh, I'm paying I think she said $7,000 or $6,000 a month to live here. And my food is not here on time. And I was like, excuse me, how much are you paying to live here? I'm in the wrong business. So I started doing some research, and I was, knocking on people's doors that own facilities, and I was asking for advice, and really no one wanted to help me. And that's also why I got into like putting videos out and stuff, because I was like, well, I'll at least put some stuff out there because no one helped me. I'll at least try to help people out. But anyway, I started my first facility, and I had around $7,000. I may have been seven, maybe 7,500, but it was definitely not over $8,000. So I kind of was counting my coin, and I went looked for rental properties, and I said, well, I can't afford to buy anything. So I said, well, let me go for a property I can lease. So, before that, to back it up even further, I was a contractor. So that was what I was doing for, that was my main business. So I was a contractor. I was doing kitchens, bathrooms, renovation, and I was just taking time to like, I wasn't doing it myself. I had crews I was doing it. I mean, I was handy. I know how to do a lot of the work, but I mostly had crews working for me. So I had some spare time because I was like in between selling these jobs and managing projects. I volunteered 1 or 2 days a week at this facility. And so now going forward, I said, let me find a property. So found a property that was sitting on the market for a little while. It was in a good neighborhood. It may have been like a little ran down, but I said, I can do some work to it. I went to the owner and I said, if I can lease this property, I want to turn it into an assisted living facility. He didn't really know what it was, so I explained it to him. I didn't have a business plan. Now I know what I know now. When you go to somebody to do some negotiating, you hand them a business plan, and then you have that talk after they've reviewed it. But I was just getting started. Like I said, I didn't know. So, I finally got the guy to agree. And then I gave him the property was $1,500 a month or $1,600 a month. And I asked for 2 months off. I said, well, the licensing is going to take me a few months, and I really can't afford to be paying you rent while the place is just sitting. So can you give me a few months off? And he was like, well, can you sign an extra year on the lease? And I was like, all right, cool, deal. So I ended up, signing a 3-year lease. Yeah, it was a 3-year lease. And I then started doing work to the property. As me and one of my guys, we painted, just put the grab bars in the bathroom, and then went and got furniture. And I knew like I didn't have money to pay employees at the time. So I took some money. I took the classes, the manager's class, and I took the classes on how to be a care provider, because I wasn't a care provider before. I just was volunteering. So I took the care provider classes, which was only like a few weeks. And it was stuff that I already had learned volunteering anyway, but you have to have the certificates to work in a facility. So I did that. Then, I got licensed. I went around looking for clients. I gave out business cards and brochures, and finally I got licensed for 7 clients I got, and I was like hustling. So I'm by like my second month, I was full. And I was like, oh, making good money, but now I'm in there taking care of 7 people by myself. So when they slept, I slept. I had a daughter that I had joint custody of, and literally she grew up in the facility now. It's crazy now, she's 15. but she grew up in the facility. You know, she was 1 year old. I should change her pamper, I remember, and then go and change clients that needed to be changed and bathed in the morning. So like she was like my 8th client in that facility when I started. So yeah, taking care of the clients. So then I was making good money. So I just really started saving money up. So saved a little bit of money up, and I was like, you know, I need to start hiring people. This isn't really, you know, sustainable for me to be working here day and night. I'm young. I'm like trying to like date. So I hired someone for nights. So I stayed during the day, and then I hired someone to do the night shift. And then so I can at least have a night life. And it worked out well. And until I really just phased myself out altogether. But I still kept myself active in the community we were in, because I ended up building 2 more in that very same community. Because of that, I ended up finding, because I was active in the community associations and everything in that community, I actually got clients from people that lived in the community. It was their family. So, you know, they would send me people. I was full. So I was like, you know, I'm going to build a facility. So then I came across 2 plots of land in that very same community, and I ended up building 2 more properties. So when I went to build 2 properties, I had an investor from when I was a contractor. And I went to her. She was a home builder. And when I had my construction company, I would do work for her company. She had a large construction company. And she would do, you know, frame the house up, get them all under roof, we called it, and I would send my guys in to do the drywall and paint. So one day, you know, I called, and it was 2008. The economy had collapsed, and we weren't in the construction industry, wasn't doing anything, which is why I had to like work in these facilities myself. Normally, I would have just hired someone and just kept expanding, but then like the economy collapsed, and my home improvement business just went under. So luckily, I did start this business when I started, because it was recession proof. Like I ended up taking this and running with it. So I called this, you know, the builder, and I said, hey, you know, I'm doing assisted living. What are you doing? And she's like, well, I'm just sitting waiting for this economy to turn around, and you know, then I can start building again. I have a few plots of land, and then my crews are just chilling. And I was like, well, you know, I have an idea for some land. I was like, but I don't, you know, I'm doing assisted living. Can you help me build a system? Because I didn't build, I was just a renovator, but she was a builder. So I was like, well, can you help me build assisted living facility? I was like, I wanted to be a house. I have a blueprint because I'd already drawn my plans up. So she came to the facility. She like looked around everything, and she's like, wow, this is like a really good business concept, and you're doing really good with just 7 clients. And she's like, well, can I invest? And I was like, well, hell yeah, you can invest. Cut me a check for like $500,000 and to like really start building 2 more facilities. So I literally got, you know, my next 2 facilities after that. Then I ended up building more after that, and I bought her out of ended up buying her out, and I ended up selling those facilities and then building more. So it's all about the networking that you do, and you keeping your books. Because this woman, she was a lot older than me. She was a shrewd businesswoman, but she was really good at numbers, and I always admired her for that. She looked at my numbers I kept, and she was like, "Oh no, this is a business that's doing well. It's going to do well." And then she ended up building 5 facilities of her own. I helped her do 5 facilities, and she still owns 5 or 10 of them to this day. I helped her build the first 4 or 5. Then she bought 2 from me, and I went and did some more. And she's running in this industry now like crazy. But she really was my first lender that I went to and fell backwards into building 2 facilities, and which started me off after I started with $7,000. So, like I said, always keep good books. Never be afraid to you know, ask or see if someone wants to invest. And take pride in what you do, because if you do a good job, when someone comes to look at your product, that's going to be a reflection of you. So, you know, take your time, do it right. Like nowadays, I know I'm sounding old, but I'm not. But I see a lot of people they want to get rich quick. So I'm like, there's no such thing as get rich quick. Take your time, do it right, and the opportunities will fall right into your lap because you work for them. You put it out into the universe. So do a good job, do your best that you can, take your time, learn, make the best decisions with your clients in mind, and then don't be afraid to network. That's one of the things I'm happy as I did. We talked about it before, going to these associated meetings and just networking with like-minded people in other industries. You'd be surprised which people would want to do business with you or would want to invest in what you're doing because they'll believe in you and they'll see that, oh, you're killing it. I want a piece of that. Or, I want to be a part of what you're doing. So just take your time, do a good job. I did it. And it's 15 years later. And I'm telling you, I cannot be happier that I made this. I gave up on home improvement, like stick with this. Well, I didn't give up on home improvement. The economy made it give up on me. But I'm happy I stuck with it because now, it has afforded me a great life. And I literally started off with under $8,000. So if I can do it, I know you can do it.